Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Man Weave College Basketball Podcast. I am your host this week, Jim Root, joined as almost always by Matthew Cox and as even more almost always, Kai McEwen. They're both reporting live from their humble abodes on this fine Friday morning. Kai just gave a little wave. It seems our audio is up and running. How are we feeling over there, Mr. McEwen?
Yes, feeling good, Jim. Happy Friday to all you corporate drones out there. I know we're excited for Friday, aren't we? Go to the break room, get a coffee, chat the day away, go to the bathroom, waste 2 hours on the pot. It's all good. Corporate life, baby. Actually, I'm working from home today. Matthew, how are you? I'm doing great.
Good. Do you work from home on Fridays and Mondays or just Fridays?
Normally Fridays and Thursdays. I'm a 3-day office guy. Yeah. hmm It's a
Most
great
people
brain.
say it in that order too. Fridays and Thursdays.
A Friday and
That's
Thursdays
the,
guy. Yeah.
that's generally how it's done.
My
And then
wife
Wednesday,
goes
Tuesday,
in Monday.
Monday, I go in.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right.
But hey, fellas, even those corporate drones got some time coming off with Feast Week on the horizon. We are going to be previewing some of that Feast Week fanaticism in this episode. That'll replace our game preview section at the very end of the sode. But otherwise, we're going to stick with the normal format. We're going to give you some Roots Roundup, a little bit of news and notes from the past week that was. We've saw that. Just big games, big performances, bad losses, just anything that was kind of like eye-popping that must be discussed. Three-man thoughts, that's where we really get to explore the space. Everybody gets to come up with their own little musings, as this episode is called, the mid-November musings. And then at the very end, after we go through a little bit of Feast Week preview, reviews. We'll talk some reviews. There is a shot fired at Matty Cox, so those should stick around. Make sure you stick around for the review section to hear that. But before we get into all of it, shout out to Jay Pitty, aka Mr. Joe Paskov, for the opening tunes. Kai, you're missing his housewarming on Saturday. How dare you?
I know. I wanted to go, but tickets to see a comedian, you just can't pass those up. I actually bought these tickets like 6 months ago, so it's unfortunate timing.
It's tough. It is
Yes.
tough.
Where's he live, Jim?
I will see Joe's. I'm not gonna out him.
Where's his,
But
I want his
Joe's
address?
Rio
Public.
Norte area. It is very walkable from you, Matthias, and I'm gonna be at his place before I'll ever see yours. Actually, walkable from your old place.
I
Ha
know.
ha ha
Still have no
ha.
furniture on the upstairs deck.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I
could still
don't think we
congregate
need the
out of that.
upstairs tech in a winter wonderland, but
Yeah, that's fair.
Sleeping
It's the
bags on
coolest
the
part
floor,
of the house,
man.
though.
Sleeping bags.
We
there we
could.
go. Now you're
We
talking.
could.
Hey, subscribe to the pod on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Overcast, wherever you get your podcast. Check those out. Yeah, that's right. I raised Kai's eyebrow with that podcast app shout out. Leave reviews if you so please. We read the iTunes reviews, the podcast app, Apple Podcast app. That's what comes at the very end of the episode. Feel free to use it as a mailbag if you want to submit a question. And subscribe to the YouTube channel where we are streaming live right now on Friday morning at 7 a.m. Central, our consistent time. Not every single week, but this is generally when we are going to be up and running here. Shout out to Basket Under Review. Please join if you have not. $10 gets you access to the best college basketball Discord on the planet and the website with all kinds of incredible written content. I'm contributing to the Saturday weekend watch list every week. And then there's just plenty more from Will Warren. Jordan Majeski's game breakdowns are there 4 or 5 of the 7 days of the week. Brian Ralph's doing his Ralph report. And then we've got some pinch hitters coming in doing really good stuff. There's a breakdown of Alabama's offense from Joe Jackson of the Big Ten fame. There was a really good article about Stanford's Ibuka Okori from Joey Dwyer. Like just
Yeah,
incredible
very good.
detail, in-depth, all over the map in college basketball from mid-major to high major to Power Five to individuals, the teams, just the best college hoops coverage from people that love college basketball. So get into Basket Under Review, only $10 a month. Get there, be in.
Yeah, the
All right,
Okori article is awesome. I just want to underscore
yeah, I
that.
loved it. Just kind
It
of
hit
the
me, it struck
background
a
of
chord
him.
because I missed him in my ACC preview for Stanford. It's really been eating at me. So I'm glad that we highlighted him to compensate for my lack of oversight, I suppose.
It's eating at you so much that you said Stanford regularly.
Stanford.
There
Oh,
we
I
go.
didn't.
Phew. Okay. Yeah, check the tape. He didn't say it regularly. That never happened. Yes, so get into that. And that's pretty much it for the intro. We got Kai's comedy show on Saturday. That's personal corner. That's all we got there.
Yeah. Not
Let's
my own.
talk. No, Kai's doing stand up. It's gonna be great. Let's talk Roots Roundup. Before we do, though, Matthew, a quick plug for our loyal sponsor at CVB Analytics, which I continue to find new things that I find either useful or interesting, just delving deeper and deeper into the site. So shout out to them.
CBB Analytics, Jim, our Bible for all things college basketball statistics, player level, team level stats from a shooting view, a play-by-play view, just a ton of new stats coming out. I'm trying to pull up the list here of the new features that Nick and team are rolling out for the upcoming year. But just the best part about the fact that we're actually in the season, you can see a lot of how these shot charts and shot diets have evolved from what you saw last season. Just all these teams are so new. I was looking at the continuity stats, and it's just you don't know anything about these teams until you actually watch them play. All the more reason to visualize your team and especially coaches, your opponents, with the handy dandy tools that CB Analytics provides you. Please sign up today using our promo code WEAVE. Get you $40 off a subscription. And coaches, please DM us directly if interested in the Holy Grail Pro tier. I have a few nuggets about some of the best mid-range shooters, some of the paint floaters, mid-range jump shooters, etc. As we go throughout, littered in some of my thoughts. I'll say. So,
Wow,
thank
Oh,
you.
okay. I thought
Easter
they were coming
eggs.
now.
Yes,
Yes.
Wow.
yes.
A little teaser for folks. That's how you do it in the biz. Matthew is a pro. We'd love to hear it. But yes, promo code Weave, CVB Analytics. Get there. Okay, news and notes. Not a lot going on here, fellas, which is good. We like that. We want to focus on the ball. A couple of injuries that we're gonna hit though. No key headlines, no coaching news. Kentucky's Jalen Lowe got a shoulder thing, and this is kind of nebulous, unsure, Kai, what we have happening here. I think he's getting like second and third and fourth and 100th opinions, trying to figure out what the answer is going to be. It seems like it's going to be maybe pain tolerance, but it could be re-injured. At this point, could potentially play, but might need surgery at the end of the season. It's rough for Kentucky. And we can discuss them a little bit more, and we saw that. But Jalen Lowe, very important as a shot creator, and they clearly like set up the offense to have him as the point guard.
Yes. I'm laughing at your screenshot, Matthew. I don't know why you sent that.
Oh, like it. I know we should post it.
Yes. They lack the Kentucky Michigan State game, which we'll talk about in a bit. Yes, Kentucky badly needs Lowe in the lineup, and you're like, he's not worth 17 points. He makes a huge difference on their offensive attack. They have no plan, it seemed like, against Michigan State. It was a lot of Aberdeen forcing shots. It was a lot of bad shot selection all around. Having a point guard, a guy who can orchestrate an offense, makes everything flow so much better. So he is very vital. If he's out for a long period of time, plus you already have Quaintance out, yeah, it's kind of worrisome for Kentucky. I'm not saying they're going to miss the tournament or be a outside top 50 team. They're still very, very good. They've played freaking Louisville, and I think Michigan State is very good. But it is very concerning if he's out for an extended period.
Yeah, I just don't feel bad for Kentucky. Like, how can one player mean so much to this team if in fact this is the case? $20 million should surely buy you enough replacements, reinforcements. The Mark Pope press conference. I love Mark Pope. Someone on Twitter tweeted this out. Just the drama and the soap opera that's already occurring with this team. Like, it's just so dramatic. It's like exhausting. I feel bad for him, but I also definitely don't feel bad for him at the same time. So that's my Kentucky vibes read at the moment.
They're 3-2. They're 11th in Ken Palm.
They're fine.
Like, yeah, I don't know why they're reacting like the season is over. I mean, Alabama lost like 4 times in the first 3 weeks of the season last year. Houston was 4-3 in November and ended up a 1 seed. Like, it's insane the overreactions to them. I get they didn't look great, but also Michigan State, who is a terrible shooting team, and the entire game plan with them is go under screens, let them shoot threes, hit like 7 in the first 6 minutes, and it just completely changed the tenor of the game, the flow of the game. I'm panicking less than Mark Pope is, which seems
I
really
know.
weird.
I know.
Like maybe he's got a better view of the locker room and how guys and personalities are coming together than I do, but I just don't think they've looked that bad. Even in the loss at Louisville, they charged back after getting down big and made that a close game late. I think down 4 late in the game. Michigan State,
Yeah.
tough game flow. Like if they come out and play really well against North Carolina on December 2nd, I think everybody's gonna be like, oh, okay, never mind. Why did we panic? But they might need Jalen Blow for that. So we'll find out. All right. The other injury that I wanted to mention, Maryland's Pharrell Payne has a hip thing. We do not know how long he's going to be out. Maryland will come up and we saw that, but just a team that is so reliant on winning the offensive rebounding margin, dominating the paint, having that particular identity. Payne is like the crux of that. He is the heart and soul of that style. They've also been missing Solomon Washington, so it just hasn't been the same buzzball, the same physicality in the paint. Now, they did beat Marquette, and they've, not been a complete waste of time so far this year. They lost at home to Georgetown, but they need a lot better health than they have right now because currently the Terrapins are a bit of a mash unit. I know they're probably super pumped about getting a Baba Oledetun, I believe is his name, like incoming freshman next year, top 5 recruit. Everybody's all excited about that. This year's just tide over until we get that guy, but man, it could end up being a struggle if they don't get a lot more good health going on the roster. All right, that's really all we've got for Roots Roundup, guys. There no suspensions, not a lot of other random news and notes. We don't have a Reddit stat of the day yet, a Reddit stat of the week.
Sorry.
Kai is
Sorry.
we're coming at Kai for that. But hey, that means we get to talk a lot more about we saw that, get more into our three-man thoughts, and there's a lot to discuss. Let's pivot right to we've saw that, fellas. The headliners, Matthew, the Champions Classic, where your Duke Blue Devils did outlast a Darren Peterson-less Kansas. I was very frustrated by that as a Kansas backer that they only led by 12 for like 20 seconds of the entire game.
Me too.
Kai's raising his hand. Yeah, yeah, really tough stuff. I was sitting there, Kai, and I had the Jayhawks and the over, and they had 61 points with 5 minutes left. And I was like, if they get to, I think it was like 69 points, I couldn't lose both, and they only scored 5 points in the final 5 minutes, and they lost
Yeah.
both. So
It was
that was
tough.
rather frustrating. Yeah, but Matt, your feelings on a little vibe check on Duke? Do you feel like they're the deserved number one team and going to stay that way as they are in Ken Palm right now, or is there still a lot to work out?
Yeah, they are. I feel like I'm always too high on Duke, but I do think a lot of the same defensive, just like swarming length and floor presence is emblematic what they had last season, and I think that's just gives them a super high floor. Would have loved to have seen Peterson in this game. It just felt like Kansas' offense was so watered down, and the Duke team didn't really get challenged. It was actually a very impressive defensive effort by the Jayhawks, Jim. I think if anything, if you're a Duke fan, you're more worried about the offense long term than the defense. But ceiling wise, I still think it's the highest ceiling in the country. Houston's right there. Gonzaga's probably right there. Um, Arizona, I mean, my God, what else does Arizona have to prove with? And they're doing it with freshmen, probably right there. But I still think Duke's general depth of talent, just with the length they have defensively and the upside that Boozer probably has as an anchor offensively. Yeah, impressive. But again, asterisks because no Peterson and Kansas is playing a different style of basketball than they did the first 4 games of the year.
Yeah, I am very impressed by Duke. KU is very sad. I mean, not sad as a Mizzou fan. I mean, sad overall as a program. It's just not. Look, I know you didn't have DP. You should never be a double-digit point dog on a neutral floor against Duke, a peer of yours, your Kansas basketball. But that's what they were, and they looked like the much worse team. Now, they did hang for a lot, just like Texas, man. This is why I'm not totally sold on Duke. Texas hung with Duke for a long time as well. Eventually, Duke overwhelmed them. I'm not really a huge fan of Texas this year. Kansas, obviously, without DP is completely different. But I see the upside in Duke for sure. Number one, I'm not sure they're the best team quite yet in the country. Cameron Boozer is incredible. I had a guy tell me the other day, he was like, yeah, but her stats aren't that good to start off the year. I'm like, if you watch this game, he just like, he's in the right spot every single time. He makes the right play basically every single time. He is the most fundamentally sound, maybe freshman I've ever seen. He truly is incredible. Jim, I think Evans is going to shoot them out of games eventually. I do not have a lot of confidence in Foster. I do like Dame Sarr. He's been terrific on both ends.
Yeah, Kai, you kind of touched on two questions I wanted to ask Matt follow up on just where he's at with his Blue Devil belief right now. Cam Boozer has not been the same player in their two big games, Texas
Too
and
bad
Kansas.
first
He's been
halves.
good. It's not
Yeah,
like he's
too
come out
bad
and
first
had
halves.
25 and 15 the way he did against Army and
Right,
Western
right.
Carolina. Hasn't been an efficient shooter, but he does create. So is there any concern level for that? And two, per CBB Analytics, Duke is, I want to make this clear, 43 points worse when Isaiah Evans is on the floor right now. Net rating of negative 43. To Kai's point about him shooting out of games and just generally being a horrific defender, is the best version of Duke really with him on the floor?
I think the highest ceiling is because I do think his to Kai's point, it goes both. It's a double-edged sword with him. I think he can also just go on game-breaking runs of his shot making. So I think you have to. Shire, I think, has one of the harder. It's probably a harder coaching challenge this year than last year because I do think he has some interesting lineup puzzles to figure out. Where last season Cooper just kind of put it all into place and the pieces fit a little bit more naturally. I think this year he has to kind of pick and choose some offensive versus defensive lineups, with Evans obviously being a part of that equation. Um, but Jim, Big Pat is kind of my concern. I was really high on him. It still looks a little too raw and toolsy, and I think you're going to have to lean a little bit more on Committee and hope that Malik Brown stays healthy to feel like the front line is really, really good. That's
Interesting.
that's actually where I was kind of yeah. I thought I had higher hopes for Big Pat's consistency. I mean, his numbers so far are really good, but I thought offensively there'll be a little more reliability. Turnovers have been kind of a problem sometimes. We'll see. There's more tests to come. We haven't played anyone significant yet, but that's kind of a concern but especially with Brown's injury being a risk.
Yeah, Big Pat should stop shooting threes, but he is like top 10 in Evan Mia's player rankings right now. Like I think he's
I
still
know. I just don't buy
a
that. Like eye
stud
test just
and
doesn't. He's. I mean,
doesn't get
crazy
there.
talented. Just doesn't feel like he's consistent or as effective in his
Yep.
role.
And we weep for John Shire for the tough task he
I
has this
know.
year of
I hope so.
figuring
Yeah,
out
Yeah,
which
we will.
lineups to play. We weep for him.
happy to help John.
Okay, the other we talked a little Kentucky already in Roots Roundup, but the undercard, Michigan State punking the Wildcats in the first game of the night. Kai, I Michigan State I think is going to be better against top shelf competition this year. Like just the
Yeah.
physicality and athleticism plays up. Obviously they made shots here. That was a really big part of the game. Them shooting 50% from three. I'm not sure how many games they'll do that this entire season. But when they add that to the dominant interior duo that they have with Cooper and Kohler and Carr's athleticism, and Jeremy Fears is a freaking stud, like
Yes.
averaging over 10 assists per game. Michigan State, where are you at on them? I know they didn't blow out Colgate or San Jose State, but they really have played up well in their two tests against Arkansas and Kentucky.
I was big on them preseason. I'm still big on them. I don't want to take a victory lap quite yet, but this team is really good. They do one of the most important things in basketball at an elite level, and that's rebound on both ends of the floor. They are dominant on the rebound on the glass. They're also an incredible ball movement team. That's not just this year. It's every year. Remember when AJ Hogarth is like, "Oh, he's such a good passer. Hogarth's passer." No, it's Izzo's system. That's why Izzo's point guards are number 2 in the country every single year in assist rate. And Fears is awesome. He is better than Hogarth was. He's made the leap so far. Jackson Kohler has improved more across the last 4 years than maybe anybody in the country among 4-year players. He is legit. He can actually shoot too. It's crazy. Carson Cooper's gotten a lot better. Cohen Carr's gotten a lot better. Impressive development from Izzo. Trey Ford has not been as good as I thought, but maybe give him some time. Cam Ward, their freshman. But the point is, I think Michigan State is going to be a lot better at the end of the year because they still have guys they're developing, but they still have that senior leadership. I'm just very in on this team. I don't think they're as good a shooting team as they were against Kentucky, obviously, but they're not also a 25% three-point shooting team.
I think they could end up being 25% from three. That's
I don't
like,
think
or
they
like
can shoot.
29%. I think they're going to end the year sub 30. That's my prediction.
I'll take over 30. I don't think
Okay.
Tang is a 41% three-point shooter, but you know,
But this is the same thing. This is why I think their floor is so high, is because it's the same thing with last year. They didn't shoot the ball well last year, right? But
Right.
because they did all of the extras, as we say, so well that when they did make shots, they looked invincible. So I think you can see a similar path forward this year. But last year they kind of had some opponents shot. There was the whole thing for about 2 months. What opponents were shooting 25% from three against them. They finished 28% on the year. It's not exactly a defense that really like prioritizes running shooters off the line. This year, they're already giving up a pretty hefty amount of threes, and their opponents are shooting under 29%. Now again, their defense is really good, so it's kind of like the Virginia Houston thing, where that's
Yeah.
not bad luck. That's legitimate. However, I do think that's a little bit. You can't run that well again. I think 2 years in a row. But Jim's point's right. I think the shooting thing worries me in a big game in March on a neutral and a Sweet 16. They really go cold. Yeah, they can win the boards. I think they can, win the possession tug of war, but I don't think there's any shooting upside here. I just don't. I think the loss of Richardson is just so huge in that regard.
Yeah, and like last year they had so much depth. TBD if they have that this year. I think it's looked better than I expected. Like McCullough was useful in
it
this game.
was.
Cam Ward is certainly better than I expected coming in where he was ranked. But Matt, to the 3-point percentage defense point, been top 101 for the last like 7 years, and in the
They're
last
always, yeah,
15
just a good
years, they have
defense.
never ranked worse than 144th in three-point percentage defense. Like,
Yeah, it's good
it
defense.
is not a yeah, it's not a team that has ups and downs there. It's like a proven system year over year. Is those teams are great there. Now, I don't think like Kentucky going 7 for 30 from deep, Cam Williams going over 4. Like some of that stuff's not going to sustain. This is kind of a perfect storm of Kentucky can't shoot or get good shots without low, and Michigan State was hot. But all right, that's it. That's Champions Classic,
Sorry,
fellas.
my last Michigan State point, just to add more fuel to the fire of people that just trucked us on Twitter for the Tom Izzo thing. Kentucky's scheduling timing, I think, has worked out very fortunately. Catching Arkansas at the time they did and Kentucky at the time they did, two teams that I think will be vastly improved in 2 to 3 months, and the metrics will view those wins as much stronger than they were at the time in which they played. Just to sorry,
Yeah,
Michigan State
you get
fans, I'm
Kentucky
done.
without Quainson Low. You get I don't know. We'll see about
You're
Arkansas.
caveating
Arkansas.
those wins.
A little
Horrible.
bit. We'll see.
They
Couple-
dominated Kentucky. They
They did.
absolutely punked them.
They did. That's fair.
Shooting splits be damned. They
Yeah,
dominated.
they
Shooting
did.
splits
That
be
was a men
damned.
versus boys. Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go to UConn, and then that'll segue us to Arizona as well, because both these teams are playing tough schedules and get mentioned a lot here because they're giving a crap about the non-con, unlike Kai and I's alma mater. So UConn, they beat BYU in Boston, kind of controlled that game most of it. BYU had a big feverish comeback late, led by AJ Debinsa. Then they turned around and lost to Arizona at home. Terrace Reed, a notable participant in the BYU game and an absent in the home loss to Arizona. Still waiting on Braylon Mullins. Kai, I think when this team's fully loaded, everybody's back. They're going to be borderline unstoppable because they just didn't have like an interior presence in this game on offense. So really, on defense, I know Ryba played okay, but Reed's crucial. And then you add one more elite shooter and Mullins to the mix. I did not leave that Arizona game thinking like, oh, UConn's screwed. I think they're
Oh,
awesome.
I think they're very good. I thought Arizona was the better team, and frankly, I kept looking up and I was like, UConn's still in this game. Like it did not feel that way. Arizona, I think Hurley said like they got dominated. They did. Like physically, Arizona imposed their will on them. And yeah, Terrace Reed, that would help just a little bit. Your best big man, heck, maybe best player on your team. Um, UConn, what was I going to say? I'm not. One thing I noticed early on, especially against Arizona, though, UConn got into the paint and basically got it shot every single time down the floor in the early going. They just missed. They just missed. Like, they could have been up 10 to 15 to start the game with the shots they were getting. And I think that really affected them, at least in the first half. Now, in the second half, Arizona's physicality started to win out. Koa Pete Matthew is a freaking monster. This guy is awesome. I love him. He's incredible. Karchenkov also has been impressive, too, as a freshman.
Yeah, Pete's. I mean, he gets. It's funny, like for a guy that he can't really shoot outside. He's just so smooth and so physically fluid with how he drives, his spins, his finishing. And it looks like a 25-year-old professional scoring the basketball. And like UConn really could. I mean, the way he just embarrassed Alex Caravan a few times was just like, whoa, okay, that's Alex Caravan. Like he's been around the block a few times, played some pretty good players, defended some good players, and Pete was just a mismatch for him. I thought that was more concerning from UConn's perspective because they've sort of had the same inconsistent issue. We saw this last year. I think it's sort of blended this year too. I mean, I know they made that run to get back in the game, but they had some kind of lucky, like, look what I found buckets. And Arizona was, again, a young team
Yes,
on the
I agree.
road. You'd expected Arizona to probably squander that lead at some point. So I don't know. I kind of think UConn, not concerned, but like I'm not as, yeah, I guess I'm a little bit more, even though it's Jim's point, they get healthier, we'll see. But I
They're
do feel
down,
like there's some of those same, yeah,
down
probably
Reed.
their, probably their, well, Mullins too. But yeah, I mean, I still think at home, I think that's a game you gotta win, especially after you almost blew that game against BYU. That's why I was frustrated. It's like, man, that should have been a wake up call.
Yeah, I can't blame that. Like for I would say Reed's their most irreplaceable player because then also like
Yeah,
the backup to Ryba is untenable. Dwayne Caroma, get off the court for me, please. And against that front court, you just need a bigger body,
you
and
need
they
all your
didn't
bodies
have
there.
that.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
Arizona has definitely assembled the best resume in the country so far. Beat Florida on a neutral, UCLA this week, also on like a semi-away game in LA, and then they go to a true road game at UConn. And Kai, just real quick, would you rank Arizona number one because of that? That this was like a debate raging. I wouldn't. They'd be a one seed, but I
Yeah,
don't have to automatically vault them to the best team. Jaden Bradley's a killer, but
I
I'm
think
not quite there.
AP poll math would say it's pretty sticky, right? I don't think you can drop the number one team, right? And even though they
Yeah, I
did
mean, Purdue's
last
won at
week,
Bama, and Bama's beaten two good teams away from home.
but
Like,
they might be the number one overall seed, Jim. If you were to do a bracket today,
yeah, number
yeah,
one resume. I wouldn't have them as the number one like predictive team.
no, and neither does Ken Pom. Yeah,
Yeah, there we go. Okay, other big results. Houston beat Auburn. I'm going to talk a little more about Kingston Fleming as one of my three-man thoughts, so I don't want to dwell on that too much, but hey, they got their revenge. Matt, just real quick, vibe check on Houston, where they don't really have the front court scoring answer because Tugler hasn't progressed as a finisher as much as they hoped, but they do have a maybe better backcourt because of Flemings and potentially Harwell if he continues to come along as a rookie.
Yeah, Houston, I've learned that the ceiling's even higher than I thought. But like, I mean, how poorly they executed against Auburn was just really alarming. Again, I'll give some a slight pass to the youth, but you have, Uzan and Sharp and Sampson. I just that was a little bit like, really, that was what you had the last 4 minutes, guys. That was bothersome. I bookmarked that in my mind. But again, I think with the freshmen showing flashes, I mean, this really could be, this could be a true, like a different type of awesome Houston team this year with how they could, their trajectory should be a sharper incline than we've seen in years past, where it's been more older vets, especially up front.
Yeah, outside the top 15 offensive rebound rate is weird right now for them.
Yep.
That's kind of a problem, especially with their personnel. And I do not think JoJo Tugler should be their highest used player on offense.
it's weird.
Cannot make layups.
They're really
Cannot make
trying
layups.
to round peg square hole him into the Jawan Roberts role. I don't really understand that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to play like that.
Yep.
I don't get it.
Defense remains hyper elite, and I'm not worried about them on that end at all. But offensively, they've got some issues to work out. Pecking order, creating slightly better shots. I mean, their late game execution was horrific against Auburn.
Mhm.
Like, especially after the national title game possession, you want to see a little bit better there, and it's just kind of more of the same. But maybe with Fleming's coming along and being able to have him and Uzan, you figure it out. I don't know.
Jim, with kind of sort of in the same uh, stat, you and Will with the stats breakdowns, I'm going to be watching the free throw rate and the offensive rebounding rate. Like, I think if the offensive rebounding rate's a little bit lower, that's fine if you're getting to the rim on your first shots more, right? Where like, the recipe was always, Houston takes too many jump shots. Look at their low free throw rate. Well, it doesn't matter. They get every offensive miss. Like, well, if they're not going to get every offensive miss, they think they need to get their first shots at the rim more consistently. So having
Yep.
the what this a 16 or 17% free throw rate right now is a little bit
It's
that's
really bad.
concerning.
Bottom five in the country, especially when three games are bye games. It's not good. Four.
Right? What do you?
Alabama got their second big win. Kind of offhandedly mentioned it there. Beat Illinois in Chicago at the United Center. Pretty nice win. This is basically a true road game. They've won in two NBA arenas. St. John's actually a true road game. This technically semi away. Kai, tied. Are they where are they at for you in like your SEC pecking order? Just I just want that answer real quick.
Oh boy. Well, they look heck. They look better than Kentucky right now.
Yes, better than
I,
ahead of Kentucky,
if I'm man, two or three.
Florida.
Florida's one. I think Tennessee might be two, and then Alabama. I'm surprised Alabama's 18 in Ken Pom. I don't understand the everything about the guy's algorithm, but holy crap! Like they're playing like a top 10 team. They've been incredible.
Yep. Yeah, I don't fault them at all for losing at home to Purdue when it's Trey Coffin-Renn's debut, and I think Purdue's a top two, three team in the country too.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, some other random stuff that we saw. Buzzer beaters. Matthew, I believe you were up late with me watching the USC Troy game last night. I
Yep.
need more sleep because of it today, but
Yep.
a double clutch buzzer beater from Jordan Marsh to beat Troy in triple overtime and arguably like game of the year so far, just like scoring, shot making back and forth, some chaos. That was incredible. Quick thoughts on that game?
It was everything. Troy was everything I love about college basketball, and USC was everything that I hate about college basketball. Like, just a bunch of gun for hire mercenary team. The chemistry on that team is like negative a million. The building energy was like a wine and cheese happy hour. And then Troy comes in. They played like a million minutes the last 4 weeks. They out rebounded. I think it was 14-3 on the offensive glass at one point. Scott Cross is like throwing in 3 different types of zones. USC is just like, hey, Chad, chuck this one up. Hey, Rodney, now you chuck it up. Hey, Chad, now you go. And it was just like, I was rooting so badly for Troy to win, and they probably should have deserved to win despite everything working against them,
And the
including
basketball
the,
gods.
the
Ouch.
littlest shot clock was not working for the first 5 minutes. So, like, the P announcer was announcing Troy's shot clock. Meanwhile, USC had theirs working. It's like, why don't you just shut them both off if one's off? Crazy.
63 to
That's
39
usually how
on
it
the
works.
glass.
Yeah, you're right.
You shut 'em
25
both off, right?
offensive
It's
rebounds
yeah.
for Troy. 25 offensive rebounds for Troy, 7 for USC. And Baker, Mazzara, and Rice took a combined 41 shots.
Kai, do you see the USC? They're also playing the Simpsons theme song every time Troy would shoot free throws.
Okay.
It's very bizarre. The announcers didn't really understand it, but it was just like very
guess I'm
Hollywood
for
confusing.
that. It's a terrible arena. There's no atmosphere.
Yeah.
It just is. And man, Troy, God, that would have been such a cool win to have a couple
Yeah.
like banger wins in the resume, even though they lost to LMU and CSUN. But Scott Cross, dude, UTA fired.
Really, really good coach.
I know.
Yep.
It's
Insane.
stupid.
Yeah, and Troy did get the win at San Diego State, as mentioned in double OT, despite Miles Bird hitting a 65-footer to go to OT, like just an absolute bomb. So Troy has shown incredible resilience over this week. And Jalen Cox beat Siena with a banked half quarter with like 3 seconds left, tie game, buried it. So Colgate with a big win. Shout him out there. A big stat line. Maryland, very shorthanded, but they did get 41 from Diggy Coit in an overtime win over, wait, I'm seeing Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah.
They needed overtime to beat Mount St. Mary's. Like, I know they're shorthanded, but ooh, that's a little concerning.
You needed 41 points in 40 minutes from Diggy Coit to beat Mount St. 8 for 10 from 3. Yeah, Maryland's concerning with that. We talked about the injuries, but holy cow, man, even so. It can't
Yeah,
happen
but
at
we
home.
mentioned they beat Marquette, which means
Yeah.
Kai, we're going to talk
I
about Marquette and
know.
one of your thoughts.
Lead with
We're gonna
Marquette,
get there.
please. My
No,
God.
we're gonna get
It's
there.
a
It's one of Kai's thoughts. So, I do this thing, Matt, where I look and see what everybody else's thoughts are. So I can set
Hey, I
them
did
up
that
for
too
later.
today for once.
Okay.
I just thought we
All
should
right.
talk about that that was my. I think we should. It should lead off the section. I think it deserves that
All right.
much
Fair.
in the A block.
Bad losses. San Diego State at home to Troy isn't going to age well. Kai still the favorite in the Mountain West for you?
Yes, honestly,
Yeah. This
yes,
conference sucks
by
right now.
far, actually. yeah,
Yeah.
still.
This conference is terrible. Boise State
bad.
lost at home to Hawaii Pacific and barely beat Montana State. Utah State might be the best team. We'll wait and see there. But ugh.
Yeah.
Nevada lost at home to UC Davis this week. They're in this section.
Mhm.
How dare you? Like, that's not great. And then Utah, just last night, lost at home to my Cal Poly Mustangs. Mike DeGeorge is not long for the Cal Poly world. Some smart AD, pay him a bunch of money, please.
Utah.
Yeah.
They just hired.
Yeah.
They just hired Jensen.
Yeah, just hire Mr. Jensen. But oh boy, I hope he gets a big job. I know he's not quite Josh Schertz, but man, like what he's doing at that program, which is a complete wasteland of nothing in college basketball, is so impressive, and they're fun to watch offensively.
Yeah, I mean both
Okay.
Troy and Cal Poly look less talented than their opponents. Like in some of these games, like clearly, like okay, this talent is not up to snuff with the other team and the other colored jerseys. It's
Okay, let's go to three-man thoughts, and I'm going to go to Kai first because we alluded to it already. Three-man thoughts, this is where we just kind of wax poetic about what we saw, whatever stood out to us over the past week. I only have two thoughts because I want to get to the Feast Week primer. But Kai, let's start with you and those aforementioned Marquette Golden Eagles.
But first, an ad from Home Field Apparel. Of course,
Uh-huh.
go to Home Field. Jim's wearing the hoodie that says Home Field. So they do make those shirts if you're interested. Home Field Apparel makes the comfiest shirts and sweatshirts and joggers and hats. Their hats are comfy that you'll ever own. Jim's also got the Home Field branded sweatpants. Excuse me.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy is a walking billboard. Home Field Apparel. They just released these Game Breaker jackets. I've talked about it a couple times on this show already. They are sick. Mizzou's looks very good, of course. They have like 65 teams out there, limited release. They're awesome. If you're looking for a swaggy jacket for the winter, go to Home Field Apparel. Promo code 3MW at checkout. I think it's 10 or 15% off. I'm not exactly sure. Hey, check it out. Try it on your first order. You've probably ordered from Home Field before, and you should again. There's multiple millions of schools on the website. There's constantly new designs being added. It's really one of the most terrific startup companies I've seen personally over the last 10 years. They've been fantastic. Shout out to Connor and crew. Home Field Apparel, that's homefieldapparel.com, promo code 3MW.
Wear one for the
Wear
team.
one for the
Yeah.
team is the tagline.
All right,
Okay,
Kai Marquette.
Marquette. I am officially pretty much worried about Marquette. I've been stubborn in not admitting that I'm worried about Marquette, and now it's getting hard to ignore. They have failed all three of their tests so far. 23-point loss to Indiana is well documented. The 7-point home loss to Maryland is the worst result because the Terps have been absolutely horrible, and they didn't have Miles Rice in that game. That's a bad one. 6-point home loss as well to Dayton in overtime. On their own, each of those losses are not catastrophic. I think Dayton's going to end up a Q2, maybe. Maryland, probably Q2 as well. But it still can't happen. Together, it is very, very bad. They've struggled on both ends. Chase Ross has been awesome. He has fully taken the leap, but turnovers overall have been an issue. Sean Jones being freaking hurt again. Like, give me a break. This guy cannot get healthy. It's very unfortunate. Even though freshman Nigel James has been very good, they need Sean Jones. Teams are hitting shots against them. They aren't physical, and they're definitely still blossoming. There's a lot of youth in this roster. And I think it's going to get better, Matt. I'm still going to be a little stubborn and say it's going to get better in Big East play because the Big East is pretty weak. But I am concerned about their tourney outlook right now.
Yeah, they're very Ross reliant. It's very clear when he's not on the floor, they're just a different team. I thought these young guys would take bigger steps, and they just maybe they will, but they haven't yet. I think that's been kind of that's what's really spiraled into a tough spot because that's what if you're gonna you know skew the portal, you got to really develop, and if your internal guys don't develop, you have nowhere else to turn, which is admirable. But I think it's kind of left no outs for Shaka at this point, Jim. So I think they're gonna have to play the long game and try and extract whatever they can out of some of these dudes. But that's really been the frustrating part. It's just they just haven't gotten those leaps from those young dudes, and it's just too much on Ross's shoulders. And I think the lack of physicality, very. If you don't have size up front and you can't just terrorize every ball handler in the backcourt, which they just haven't brought that same pressure that we're used to seeing, it's just like they don't have an identity then. I don't know what your identity is at that point.
Yeah, they're like guards and wings can't really shoot. Like
And
remember
they can't
last
shoot. It's like, what
yeah.
are you doing?
Yeah, what's your identity? Remember last preseason when people were like Demarius Owens is gonna start. This guy's awesome. And now he's like, I know he got hurt, banged up last year, but then this year he's worse than he was last year. That's concerning. Royce Parham has not become the offensive hub that they kind of wanted him to be. This offense is barely top 100 in Ken Palm. And the biggest problem with not using the portal is if you're going to go struggle, then everyone has a thing to ask you and a point to and be like, well, you could have done this, Shaka.
Yeah.
You could have gotten some better players. And he's like, has to get super defensive in every press conference after they lose because he's like, well, we decided to opt for this route and not go out and get somebody proven. And it just like opens you up wide to criticism if you just completely ignore a route for getting players. And we've said it over and over, like some of his best players have been transfers.
Yeah.
Your Colex, your Daryl Morcell, back to that. Um, Olivier Maxence Prosper, a guy that got drafted in the first round of the draft. Like, it doesn't really make sense that he's completely stubbornly gone against it. And it's the kind of thing that, like, when it doesn't work, it looks bad. Kai, when you're streaking alone through the quad to the gymnasium and you're the only one there,
Everyone's coming.
it looks bad.
Everyone's
Yes.
coming. Jim, you know who they like? I just an immediate example. It didn't even have to be a dominant transfer. Nate Calmes would have been a perfect transfer for Marquette. He's having a great year at Wake Forest. Point guard, run offense, shoot. That's what they needed.
Yeah.
And they just
Diggy Coit.
Iggy Coit. Heck, I guess. I guess he's doing well. But yeah, they needed someone like that, and I don't know, didn't happen.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people like say, "Oh, next year will be better for Marquette." Like taking Chase Ross off this team's going to make them better. Are they going to use the portal next year? I don't know. Like
I
they
have
need
a feeling he might use it next
Yeah,
year.
yeah, going to have to. Kirk Wath, good point in the chat. Yes, very very good transfer that was important to their
Yeah.
first tournament team.
Okay, that is my first thought. I'll pass it to you, Jim.
Because there's no one else to pass to right now. For those listening at home, Matt has stepped away. I don't know if it's baby care or what.
Likely.
But yes, my first thought. This one's really like just kind of a general basketball thought. But it felt this last night watching particularly Kansas State's offense in the second half, which shocked me. But I still think my favorite play in basketball is the extra pass. just like very aesthetically pleasing to me. But a well executed cut and the perfectly timed pass that throws the guy open for a little easy layup. That's so wonderful for me to watch. It's basketball orchestra, perfectly tuned. PJ Haggerty did this a bunch last night. The way he's able to use the thread of his scoring to get open off the ball.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you think I'm gonna sprint off this like down screen for zoom action and get a dribble handoff? Nope, I'm going backdoor and getting a quick layup because I have a good chemistry with the passer. Or they threw like a long lob over the top to McGriff, and it like flipped the direction of the floor, and Haggerty immediately cut back door and got a layup off of it. Just really good ball movement. Like Steph Curry was unbelievable at this when he was at Davidson, of like setting up the expectation of him coming off screens to use a go back door. Louisville gets this a lot with Ali Khalifa on the court because he's such a good passer. It's just I love Matthew throwing a cutter open and having this kind of like intuition with your teammates where there's clear chemistry there.
Yeah, K-State's fun. Like I know they lost Maligi to Tech or Maliki, how do you say it, Jim? To Texas, but they hired Driscoll and they hired Bill Peterson, who was part of the old Baylor regime. So I think there is a kind of a rekindle of some of the roots that were so successful offensively at Baylor with that. And obviously Driscoll is a offensive genius from his time as US. So yeah, I mean, this just looks like a fun team. It's fun to see Tang like struggle to adapt to this like, man, I hate that we don't guard anybody, but we can sure score, and we'll just kind of ride that roller coaster and see where we end up. And so far, it's been, worked out pretty well.
How about
Yeah, they put a little run on Mississippi State that was crazy. Sorry, Kai, go ahead.
how about we combine the gym backdoor cut pass, immediate ping out to a wide open corner three.
Oh, an extra pass on a
The baseline.
backdoor.
Yeah.
It's very
Yes,
nice.
please.
Real quick on Haggerty, 26 points per game on 55, 40, 83 shooting. Yeah, he's a top 5 player in the sport. He's incredible.
Are we sure
Yeah,
K-State's
just
good, though? I'm still in the they're fun, and jury's still out if they're actually good.
I think their defense is not great. I think their offense is very, very good and will be all year.
yeah. Yeah, I mean they're making threes at a clip that's probably unsustainable. But this is the second straight year where I've felt that way about a PJ Haggerty team. Like
He's
I think
awesome.
he just helps set up great shots.
Yes.
Like I don't think they're going to shoot 46% from three, but Memphis was a really good shooting team when they like Tyrese Hunter had not been until last year. So I think they can shoot 37% from three. Yeah, I'm with Matt. Like if they land between 40 and 50 this year, as we rank them in our preseason countdown, that I guess that works. Haggerty's such a floor raiser when you have a top 5 player in the sport.
Yes.
Okay, that's my thought. That was a quick one. Matthew, kicking it over to you.
The underrated undefeateds.
Huh?
Dun, dun, dun. So I broke this into there's basically 8 teams in the high. I'll talk about there's 3 mid majors we'll shine some light on, but there's 4 or 8 high major teams that are undefeated currently. 4 of which I'm saying are legit underrated in that no one's really talking about them seriously, and I think they're actually pretty good and have some staying power, whether that be tournament bound or maybe second weekend run. Nebraska ball, Oklahoma State, Georgetown, and Northwestern. And then the second group, Kai, is more of the could be in the fraud alert group, and it includes your Mizzou Tigers, who have played nobody.
Mizzou ain't played
LSU,
nobody, Paul. That's
Nobody.
an SEC.
hey Paul, LSU, still keeping the SEC
Yeah.
family. Seton Hall, and Penn State. But I bring these 4 up because I actually think all 4 of these teams are not going to falter on their face when I actually think these teams are all better than people still think. I'm not saying they're great. Seton Hall and Penn State, I don't think they're great, but I do think they're a little better than I gave them credit for in my preseason ratings. I'm not sure if you guys have made any adjustments or you have not learned anything. That's fair. But I think Seton Hall and Penn State especially, who I thought were really bad. I think we all kind of thought they were bad. I think they're a little better than we think. And I know that this happened last year with Penn State. Awesome non-con. All of a sudden, conference play comes along and sort of their style. Injuries derailed a lot of that too last year, but I do think there is some staying power with that team. But thoughts on any of the Group 1 teams? Back to Nebraska ball, OK State, Georgetown, Northwestern.
I love Penn State's guard trio.
Go ahead, Jim.
I'm
You
gonna
don't?
throw that out.
Oh, you
Like
do? Yeah.
the Tuncha, Mingo, DeLeon. I like them coming into the year, and I think they've been even better than I expected. Tuncha is a freaking stud. I love that guy. Mingo, really high usage. Buying them. Seton Hall is just like the nirvana of Holloway. Like, let's completely take away the rim. We have two of the five best shot blockers in the country right now. Najai Hines, the freshman, is insane. Like, I don't think anybody saw this coming, but now that they have this elite defense, that raises the floor a little bit. And I think because the Big East is so bad, they'll pick up some wins there. Yeah, love Nebraska. It's just it's a good group here, but I don't know if I'm saying they're all like at large or anything.
I think Nebraska is very good. I am not buying Oklahoma State. They were down double digits to South Florida and probably could have lost that game. And I think they're going to get punked by a real team. Georgetown, I'm actually in. Northwestern, I'm kind of on the fence. LSU is going to fade as usual. Seton Hall is better than I thought. Penn State is still as bad as I thought. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
They should have lost to Harvard. They couldn't get away from Fairfield. This team's not good. I've happily faded them and made money.
I
They're
think
just
this
not
Penn
good.
State team has a lot more upside because they are so young, and they're a couple of key guys are international dudes that I only expect to get better at a faster rate than others.
Their defense is so poor that they haven't played anybody, and they can't get away from Navy, Fairfield, or Harvard. Like,
So
Hey,
this is my
North
take
Carolina couldn't
on.
get away from Navy either.
yeah,
Come
I mean
on.
Navy's good, but they're not a
Sea
Big
troops.
Ten team. For the Providence game coming up on Saturday, there's your litmus test. We'll see how
Yep.
good. Yeah, that's it right there.
Kai, here's Penn State's path forward to surprising people. Whether that means probably not a tournament, frankly, but just being more competitive than people think. The Mizzou blueprint, which is we play a bunch of bye games, bad teams. They score 80, 90 on us. We think our defense stinks. But then you get into SEC play, and your defense still isn't great, but it's like good enough because you're unorthodox enough and chaotic enough where you can steal a few possessions here and there with some zone or some pressure, and you can turn those into pick sixes, and it actually plays up in competition better than it looks against inferior. Does that make sense? I just feel like Mizzou has this very unique thing that Penn
This
State sort of might be tracking along the same path, where they defensively, yes, it's alarming they're not good now, but they actually may not be as horrible against better competition as we think.
I just totally disagree. They're barely beating bad competition. They can't rebound, which is Mizzou's thing. They can't get to the free throw line. They have a top 10 turnover rate because they've played 5 teams that don't force turnovers. Like, I think they're going to get pounded when they get in the Big Ten.
You talk about Penn
Yeah.
State. Okay, yeah.
Penn State.
But don't you think
Penn,
Mizzou's
Mizzou,
fine.
we
Mizzou
said the
actually
same
hasn't
thing last year, right? We said the same thing in December last year. Like, oh, Mizzou can't guard. It's like, well, they
Well, they can't, but
guarded good enough.
but they have like a top
Guarded well
15
enough.
offense. Penn State's
yeah,
offense is
and
like 60.
Mizzou and Penn State have a major athleticism gap too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
and
Mizzou's so much
experience.
Outside of
longer.
like Mingo and DeLeon, Penn State doesn't have a plus athlete.
I guess my point is I think Penn State's offense has like top 50, top 40 upside, and I think the defense could actually be bad, but not horrific as it rises in competition as those guys get a little bit older. But we'll see. I think that's kind of what Mizzou's trajectory looks like too. But Mizzou, much better defensive upside because there's just so much longer.
Yeah.
And LSU has a point guard for once. So Matt McMahon, I still don't think you're a great coach, but you have a point guard that makes you look like a smarter coach. We'll see if that persists. And Northwestern's interior defense, last point here. They're top 5 right now in obviously schedule early and at the rim and paint 2-point percentage defense. Without journalism Matumbo, this is a really good defense, and Page is a monster inside. I like this Northwestern blueprint. Jayden Reed, they'll pick up from USF. It's another sneaky Big Ten Northwestern team that I'm sure people will not take seriously, but they'll be on the bubble come March.
What did Wes Miller do to Ayrton Page last
I
year,
don't
man?
understand. I was like, this is a perfect Cincinnati guy. Like, why did he
Yeah.
leave?
Yeah. Bizarre. Okay, Kai, back to you for thought two.
Okay, here I go. I totally forgot what I have. Oh, I guess kind of in the same vein as Matthew. Excuse me, goodness. Quiet lurkers. So these are teams who are sneaky high in KenPom that have gotten zero press. So Matt's got the underrated undefeateds. These teams not necessarily undefeated, although I think some of them are. But I was a little surprised when I saw their ranking in KenPom in a good way. Iowa State is 6th right now in the country for all of those who don't know, up from 13 preseason. They've won games by 38, 40, 18 against Ole Miss, or Mississippi State, and then 39 points. It's pretty much what Otzelberger's done every single year against bad competition. He's just killing them. They're number 4 in defense, number 1 in turnover rate, and Lipsey and Jefferson have both been incredible this season. Lipsey's fully back in the swing of things. Jefferson, of course, has risen to the level that I think we hoped he would. Both of them are top 10 KenPom Player of the Year, and I have not heard anybody talk about them yet. They haven't played anybody, for sure, but I am in on the clones this year.
them and Kansas State both benefiting from beating the piss out of Mississippi State.
Yeah,
I
and who
worry
is
about
not
the
good?
Bulldogs.
I
Yes,
think they're bad, legit.
they're bad. Yeah,
Vanderbilt, number 13, 6 spots ahead of Alabama. Yeah,
I
uh,
think they're better than Alabama.
I do not.
I think
Jim, I was
Vanderbilt
going
is
to ask you.
awesome. I
Yeah, I'm
think
with
they're
Jim. Okay,
awesome.
real quick, Kai. Florida, Bama, Vandy are my top three in the SEC. We never finished that take from Jim posed
I
earlier in
like
the.
Vanderbilt.
That's your top three.
They are not a top 15 team. They've played 2 SWAC teams, EKU, Lipscomb, and they beat UCF on the road, who I don't think is good. Number 3 offensive team in the country is inflated, but I think they are good. I love McLaughlin, obviously. I love Tyro Nickel, great player. They are good. They're not better than Alabama. You give me them as a favorite against Alabama, I will happily take Alabama in that game.
Yeah, you're probably right there. I like
Hey, I
betting
like
wise,
it
I
though,
would like
Jim.
have to do that.
I,
But I
I
think
like.
Vanderbilt is awesome.
I
Like
agree.
You
top
can't
20
know that.
good.
Yeah, maybe they're top 20 good. I just think there's no way they're better than Alabama right now.
I know what
Vandy's
they
better
did to
than
UCF.
Tennessee.
Like they were up by
Vandy's better than
30 on
Tennessee. How about
UCF
that, Kai?
at UCF.
Yeah,
I
they were crushing UCF.
I think UCF is good. I know
Fair. That's fair.
They beat Texas A&M and Pitt.
I
I don't
think
know, they're
A&M
not
is
like
bad.
useless.
I think A Pitt is bad too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
opinions. Georgia, number 32, in Ken Palm right now. They're the second fastest offensive tempo team in the country. Mike White is just like, screw it, we're running. Their best win is Georgia Tech. Then they've played 4 teams that are 291 and below. So this is very much a wait and see. But hey, they are crushing teams, which is a script flip a bit for their non-con usually. So
Yeah. Playing
yeah,
super fast helps that for
yes, it
sure.
does.
But yeah, Mike White typically not like a buy game bulldozer. But them and LSU, I think, are the same.
Yeah,
Like
who's better,
let's get you some real opponents. Oh, that's a good question.
Matthew, LSU, Georgia?
LSU.
Wow, I'm going Georgia.
I think I'm going LSU also.
Wow,
I don't.
Kai,
Yeah,
Georgia
I have
has
Georgia
beaten
rated higher right now.
nobody.
I have Georgia.
Like
who is
Moorhead,
LSU
Bellarmine,
beating?
and UMass are terrible. Georgia Tech was I guess was no Washington was back for that game.
LSU beat
They almost
Tarleton
lost
without
to
Dior Johnson. Congrats.
Hey, New Orleans has won at Pepperdine or excuse me, at TCU and Tulane.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
yeah.
those
Tarleton,
are
New Orleans, and FIU are like decent mid majors. Like and
Tarleton
they
didn't play their best player in
handled
that
them.
game. To be fair,
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't last night either. I just beat Rice by 20. Yeah, whatever. We're
no,
all
Dior
projecting
Johnson
this
played.
point.
Dior Johnson played. They had like
Oh,
30 points.
Hicks didn't play. Sorry, you're right. Well, Hicks didn't play. I guess Johnson's the best player. Anyway, LSU. I'm with Jim.
Okay,
Just
LSU.
I trust the team more.
Finally, a trio, 3 teams, really quick. 45 Northwestern, we Matt talked about. 51 Colorado State. Okay. 52 George Washington. I think GW
Real.
is all the way legit. I think Northwestern will crash eventually, but be scrappy. Colorado State, I'm calling a bit of a fraud, even though I love Ali Farouk Manesh. They're not going to be top 10 in 3-point percentage all year. I don't believe in long term. They're going to win 20 games, but the Mountain West is really, really bad. I don't think they're going to get an at-large.
SLU or GW, Kai?
SLU right now.
That
GW is
SLU
very
is
good.
such a yeah. GW is driving me nuts with some of the shooting splits they've had in their games right now. Like I'm bashing my head against the wall as they don't miss. They score crazy efficiently, but I've bet against them in the wrong games. I think they're going to settle as like a top 70 team. I don't think they get to top 50, and I think SLU's top 50.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds right. Yeah, George Washington right now, 5 spots higher than SLU. Yeah, I probably wouldn't agree with that. Okay, that's my second thought. Back to James Root.
All right, just shouting out some freshmen that I think we probably underhyped coming into the season. Obviously, the class has been incredible. You've got the headliners. People know the headliners. Your Boozers, DeBences. Peterson's been hurt, but elite guys that we probably undersold. Caleb Wilson, I didn't rank him top 100. I am a dumb bozo idiot for not doing so. He's been the guy for UNC. I know Matt hyped him up really well in his ACC preview, so I will absolve Matt of this. But he's been fantastic. He's number 2 in Ken Palm Player of the Year right now, behind fellow Tobacco Road rival Cam Boozer. And then number 3 in that same statistic is Nate Ament from Tennessee. Big time scorer. I think I had him just barely outside my top 100. Again, just way too low on an elite freshman that had a clear role coming into the season. Shout out to him. And then Kingston Flemings of Houston, hiding in plain sight. We were all like, oh, Harwell is going to be the guy. Like, they don't need another point guard because they have Uzan, but he's basically moved Uzan off the ball. He's been so freaking good so far. Incredible athlete, has size, great defender, perfect fit there. And Malik Thomas for Arkansas has barged his way into the starting lineup, arguably as good or better than Darius Acuff so far. That's their two best players. The front court's not been what they needed, but those guys, all elite top 25 recruits that I think we even undersold at this point. Any comment on any of those guys, Kai?
Yeah, you're right on Wilson and Ament. Yep. Whoops. We should have ranked them higher. I
Mm,
haven't watched a lot of
I
Thomas yet.
meant, I think we're okay on that. Like we might be okay there.
Okay. So far though, it's hard to really pick hole
Fair.
or poke holes in what he's done. I think.
The
Uh,
guy playing that role at Tennessee's been awesome for 2 straight years, and now they have a 6'11 pro doing it.
I have not watched Thomas enough to have a competent thought on him. I agree. Kingston Fleming's rocks.
Jim, my amen take is just that they played nobody yet, and we'll see after they play Rutgers, Houston, Syracuse, Illinois, Louisville. That's their next 5 games. And I think playing with Jacoby Gillespie is no one makes you look better than playing next to that guy. So we'll see. I know your point about the role and that fit there is ideal. He probably is a top 100 player. I'm not going to go that far, but I do think there's going to be some freshman wall plateau nights coming for him just with his
Okay.
size.
You don't buy him number 3 for National Player of the Year. I agree with
I
that.
do
I think
not buy that.
I think
Selling
he's a top
that.
50 player though.
He is. That's
Uh,
fair. Fine.
Fantastic guards, unsurprising undefeateds. Ibuka Okori for Stanford. Holy hell. I mean, he's averaging 25 and a half points a game. Again, Basketball in Review, Joe Dwyer's article about him is terrific. Like his family, his high school coaching background. He was going to go to, I believe it was Harvard, and then was like, I'll go to Stanford. So he's smart. That's what that tells you. We'll see if he sticks around there. I hope he does. But man, Stanford has become surprisingly fun this year, playing up tempo, scoring a ton of points, and he's a big reason why. Isaiah Johnson at Colorado, not starting yet, but like arguably their second or third best player, really good off the bench for them. Been a key piece, had a big game against Providence in that win. And then Caden Mingo, Penn State won't harp on that because he's been awesome. We talked to Nittany Lions already, but love that group. And then a quick shout out to some mid-major studs. Sam Hughes of Boston U.
Yeah,
Is
stud.
Kyron Alexander hurt? He's been outstanding. Leroy Blyden of Toledo. This is the type of guy that goes to like Michigan or Michigan State if there's no transfer portal. Rakim Cheney of Valpo, Chicago guy, also like where are the Chicago schools in him? DePaul, what are you doing? And Michael Cooper of Wright State. All four of those guys have been like the man for their team so far, and I think deserve a hat tip. All right, Matthew, do you have any other thoughts? Or
No,
you
I
just
just
had the
had my
one?
one long. Oh,
Well,
sorry. Yeah, I'll finish my thought. I didn't mention the three undefeated mid majors: LMU, South Alabama, and Buffalo.
Hmm.
Kai the Bulls.
Freitag,
Hmm.
Emil
Freitag.
Freitag. Wisconsin fans are just like, are they mad? Like would he would help their team right now probably, but you have Nick Boyd who's just been awesome. So like they're probably like, oh, good for Freitag. He never got a chance here, and I'm glad he's succeeding elsewhere. But yeah, they're just like a different team with a power conference talent after 3 years of playing mediocre to low end 3-star rookies in a poorly coached system. So, but I don't know if you've seen LMU play or my Jaguars play, but I think those are real teams. I think the
Um,
best team in the Sun Belt might still be South Alabama. Troy is right there, obviously. And LMU, I think, as me and you both defended them as probably a top 6 team in the WCC, which looks terrific so
yeah,
far
I guess
to
I
date.
had. Yeah, I think I have them properly. I don't think South Alabama's that good. I watched them
Okay.
against Central Michigan. I was not impressed. And their results really aren't that great. The Toledo game is impressive. They Jacksonville State, I guess, is a good win, but they were down pretty big in that game. Um,
Yeah, Elkhorn State by
yeah,
6, Coppin State by 10.
yeah. I
It's
don't
not
think they're
like
that good. I think Troy is the best Sun Belt team.
South Alabama. It's like 63% of the shots they're giving up are threes. Like it is the most
That's
extreme. We're
crazy.
zoning. You have to take jumpers. Like yeah,
Crazy.
it's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Good shout outs on Matt. LMU definitely a team that's flying under the radar a bit.
Yeah,
MJ Amy
V-Day,
Resurrection, and V-Day's been
Amy and
terrific too.
V-Day too. Yeah, like he missed that last game I think against Santa Barbara, and they were still just fine. One in OT. All right, Kai, your final thought before we talk Feast Week.
Yeah. Just real quick. I'll squeeze it in. The new challenges, less reviews, continuation. What do we think of these new rules? I find it interesting how coaches are using these challenges. Some are very willy nilly, but it also appears there's kind of like a big bar to clear in winning these challenges. I think some of them lose, and I'm like, how did that lose? That ball was clearly off this guy, but there must be. You need evidence, I guess. I haven't seen a lot overturned. I love it compared to the endless reviews at the end of games, but the flagrant reviews still need to stop. We need to stop. If you don't call a flagrant foul on the floor, it's not a flagrant foul. And that's pretty much simple. You don't stop the game because someone's on the ground. A good example of this was Memphis and Purdue last night when Bradshaw took a flop and then he got up and got into Clough's face. They reviewed it to see if it was a flagrant foul. It was not. It was a freaking flop. Those need to stop. That's just part of the game. And then continuation, Jim, I hadn't really noticed, but I suppose I'm for it. I guess it hasn't really affected the game as much as I expected.
Yeah, the continuation that I've seen has been fine. Like
It's been
I've never
appropriate.
been like
Yeah.
egregious, and yeah, like all right, I get why that was, not technically on the shot, but the guy's going into the motion. Really had no issue with that. The review stuff's funny because like a sort of controversial call, and like I saw this especially with Bobby Hurley at Hawaii last night. Like seven staffers race around one iPad. They're
Yeah.
like,
Right.
should we review it?
Real
Should we review
time.
it? And they have
Yeah.
like 2 seconds to do it because the stoppages aren't as long as like between plays in the NFL. And they're like scrambling to decide if they should. And I think that probably limits the amount of reviews that are submitted. But yeah, it also feels like in the NFL, when they reviewed pass interference and the bar to reverse it was
Yeah. Hi.
insanely high. It never got reversed. And it's like they're trying to look out for the rest backs and the judgment calls and stuff. So that it seems like they're very, very hesitant to do it. If you're a coach, I would basically never use it unless it's like a key foul on a guy that you're going to sit. If it's like a third foul in the first half kind of thing. Otherwise, you got to save it for like a key out of bounds call late in the game.
Yeah.
You have to.
I agree. No thoughts, Matthew?
I agree. No, I just less reviews are always good. Continuation is fine. It has. I thought it'd be. You're right. It's been hasn't been a major like the you don't see like any Giannis pick up the 3 point line and take 5 steps after a reach
Yeah.
35 feet
Agreed.
away. It's just you don't see that.
Shots fired at Giannis.
I hate your shots at Giannis. Let him get healthy before you take shots at him. Come on, he's dealing with I think hamstring strain. Yeah.
Okay, that's it, Jim. We can go to the Feast Week preview real quick.
All right, yeah, let's get to this. We're probably not going to be able to like sit here and give it a whole half hour because we got stuff to do. But the big events of this week, the Players Era, just an insane slate out in Vegas. 16 teams, 8 games Monday, Tuesday. Um, then the format is funky, where all the 2-0 teams will be pooled and point differential, points scored, etc. Of the tie breaks to make the championship.
Yeah.
So your schedule matters. Like this will be an interesting thing for handicap because like a favorite being, if Gonzaga is, I forget who they play in their first game, but they are completely incentivized to win by 50. They're playing
Well,
Alabama
caps at
first, and
20.
then does it
The,
cap at 20?
yep. Point differential caps 20.
Okay, but yeah, they're like per Ken Palm 12-point favorite against shorthanded Maryland on Tuesday. And if they beat Alabama by 3 on Monday, it's like, yes, we have every incentive and reason to win by 20 against Maryland. And I think that's going to be kind of fun to factor in. But yeah, that's like a murderer's row of teams out there. Houston, Tennessee, Michigan, San Diego State, St. John's, as mentioned, Gonzaga, Alabama. A bunch of these teams that have been like really discussed already this year. We get to see more of them. Then you've got your like UNLV, Rutgers, Notre Dame. Can they hold up? Can anybody pull off a crazy upset out there? Thoughts on this event, guys, and what would be your title pick with this funky format? Kai, gonna go to you first.
Really stupid format. I hate it. There's going to be multiple 2-0 teams, and they're going to not be in the final four of this. Incredibly stupid. Make it a freaking bracket in a tournament. I don't understand. I'll take Gonzaga, even though they're playing Alabama. I think they're awesome, and I think they're going to win.
I'll take Bama. But could be Gonzaga too. I don't really have a perfect. Bama seems like they're immune to playing games on neutral sites, whether it's in Alaska or the North Pole or wherever. So they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Hate the format. Agree. Stupid. Just sorry. Real quick, a tangent about the MTs. These like the multi-pod things where the high majors refuse to play with the mid majors because they don't want to have a quad 2 or quad 3 opponent. It's just so cowardly and so lame. It's just like we basically have two sports now. We have like high majors, and then we have like the rest, and then they don't even cross paths unless maybe the tournament. That's all we have.
Yeah, they're not like most of these power conference teams aren't going to play anyone ranked from 100 to 200th. It's like we just want to beat up on Q4 competition or play big games. That's it.
Or play big games. Exactly.
Yeah, we got to find a way to fix that somehow. I don't know what the exact solution is other than the schedulings are, but we'll see. I'm going to go with Gonzaga as well. Uh, Kansas has got the sneaky beneficial schedule where they just play Syracuse and Notre Dame, two of probably the three or four worst teams in this event.
Jeez.
Everybody that plays UNLV has a little bit of an edge, but one of those teams is Maryland. One of the teams that does is Alabama, Matthew. So I think the Tide will probably nuke UNLV on late Tuesday night. But yeah, I'll ride with the Zags, given I think they can handle Alabama in that sprint up and down game to start and have a big performance against Maryland the second night. But yeah, if we tried to say like Iowa State, top 10 team, to the Kai's point of them not being enough discussed, barely even mentioned them, and they're in this event as well. Creighton, Oregon, it's loaded. So
Yeah, wow.
queue up your TNT, True TV, find True TV before March. Kai, let's talk the Southwest Miami or Maui Invitational, sponsored by Southwest this year, not Maui Jim. It's sad.
Southwest sucks now.
Yeah, they do. Just why get rid of the one thing that makes you unique?
I don't know.
Okay, NC State, USC. Oh, they also Southwest ruined Gloria, which is sad.
Oh, did they?
The song
Yeah.
because it's just all over their ads. Yeah.
Ugh.
Uh, NC State, USC, Texas, Boise State, then Arizona State, Seton Hall.
Ugh.
Washington
Gross.
State's really bad this year. Chaminade's in it this year. The bracket is kind of tilted, Kai, but what do you think here for making a title pick?
Worst Maui ever is where I'm going to start. I'll go USC, Jim. I'm going USC. Popular picks NC State. I'm going Trojans.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I feel like I remember the Trojans having a better draw. Yeah, they play Boise in the first round and Seton Hall, NC State. Texas is the one with the great draw. They're on a side with Arizona State, Chaminade, and Wazoo, which like you could argue is the three worst teams in the tournament. Seton Hall debatably versus Arizona State. I will go with NC State. I just think they're ridiculously great, and USC doesn't have a lot of great chemistry, as Matt noted from that Troy game. But man, Texas, what a draw they have.
Hmm.
We don't have Matt for a Maui pick, so we're moving on to Atlantis. Kai, the headliner. I hope we get it badly. Vandy, St. Mary's title game. Two teams that are
Yeah.
also kind of under the radar, incredibly opposite styles, which I think would be fun. Like the way they play defense, the tempo they play at, really stark contrast. Also, neither team's really played anybody yet. SMC has played good mid majors, but nobody in the top 100. But you've also got Virginia Tech. The Neo Abdallas hype continues. South Florida has come up short against George Washington and Oklahoma State, but they're really good. Colorado State doesn't miss shots from anywhere. Then you got Wichita and Western Kentucky. All right, make your pick, Mr. McEwen in Atlantis.
Really bad Atlantis as well. I will take St. Mary's to win this tournament.
Okay. All right, I'll do the Vandy announces top 15, top 20 or squad.
Very good.
Go get them, Commodores. Show it. Show us. Other ones, the Acrisure Classic, Kai, Iowa, Ole Miss, Utah, Grand Canyon. Clearly the headliners there, Iowa, Ole Miss, with Utah losing at home
Yeah.
to Cal Poly. Grand Canyon's been only okay. I think this is like Ben
Iowa
McCollum
easy.
continues to be. Yeah, they've been really good in bye games, playing a little faster. The offense is insane. And Ole Miss, I wouldn't say as sharp as I would want them to be. I think Iowa just out executes them. The Acrisure Invitational, Minnesota, St. Louis, Stanford, Santa Clara.
Hmm.
This is another one I'm going to go with the like team that I'm super high on makes a statement, and that's St. Louis.
Yeah.
But man, Stanford looks really good too.
And Santa Clara looks good. This is kind of a fun one. I'll go SLU as well, though, Jim.
Okay, the Billikens, Robbie Avila and co. Hopefully making a statement. They were supposed to be in the classic bracket instead of Grand Canyon, and last second got flipped, and it like kind of
That's
screwed their non-con schedule.
Whoa.
Yep. The Holiday Classic, Colorado, Washington, Nevada, San Francisco. I was kind of excited about Washington, Kai, but boy, they needed double overtime to beat Southern. Granted, no Steinbach in that game, but ugh, yuck.
Gosh. San Francisco.
Okay, the Dons.
Yeah.
I will go with Washington, the Huskies,
Fair.
as long as Steinbach is healthy. I don't know exactly if that's going to be the case or not. I don't really want to discuss the Holiday Invitational, Loyola, Chicago, Northern Iowa, Tulsa, San Jose State. So Kai, just make a pick.
Goodness gracious. Northern Iowa.
Yeah, agreed. You and I. Loyola Chicago, get out of my face. I don't ever want to see you
Horrible.
play again this year.
Yikes.
Rady Children's Invitational, Wisconsin, Florida, TCU, and Providence. Obviously, the headliner there, Florida and Wisconsin, potentially, but TCU and Providence could be feisty. Your
Florida.
thoughts, Kai?
It's Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's the Gators. Tough run for Wisconsin. They've got the tournament rematch against BYU the night we were recording this, Friday night, and then they go to even further west to California for this. I think they get to the title game, but Florida gets the big wins they need. And then lastly, Kai, Duke in Arkansas in Chicago on Thanksgiving.
Wow. What a game.
Yeah,
Duke's going to crush them.
I think so too. Arkansas has been bad in their big test. They barely beat Samford. They weren't able to win at, I guess they weren't bad at Michigan State, but I have not been impressed with the Razorbacks. I don't think they're anywhere near a finished product. Duke is a lot closer to it. And worst case, it's that like Duke takes a little while to get their footing, and then Cam Boozer solves basketball because he's a hoop savant and beats
Agreed.
them. Yeah, that's it in Chicago. Okay, quick pick for tonight, Friday.
Okay.
Texas Tech and Purdue. Real big showdown
Ooh, fun game.
in the Baja Mar Showcase. Yes.
Purdue. Purdue's going to win. With respect to Texas Tech, they just didn't look as good.
Yeah, and Texas Tech still doesn't have Josiah Mosley. Bam Goy doesn't look anywhere near like himself yet. They need some big time shot making from Jalen Petty and Christian Anderson down the stretch to
Who's
survive
awesome.
that.
Petty and
Yeah, Petty.
he's great.
Petty really elevates on his jump shot.
Yeah, he's like a Hubbard type. He gets in the air when he shoots the ball.
Yes, really, really way up there. But I'm with you. I think Memphis gave them a good fight, but Purdue is still the class of the country, and Texas Tech doesn't seem as cohesive as they need to be to pull off that win quite yet. Cohesive and healthy because they didn't get to practice much together because injuries wrecked their preseason. All right, that's pretty much it for our Feast Week preview. Sorry, it wasn't a little more in depth, but we got to get these boys to their real jobs, which for Matt is being a dad.
Being a dad.
She's off.
She's review time before we leave, fellas.
Or do we want to make Matt pick any of these quick?
Well,
Something?
nah.
No? Okay. All right, let's do reviews.
We'll save the Matt one for last year. Toasted Beat says, at large Yale, completely wallop Navy and Quinnipiac, underdogs in one game on the schedule at Alabama. I'm dreaming of Yale being in the tournament, regardless of Ivy Madness results. Oh no, they lost to Rhode Island after this review is made.
Yeah.
And I was on Yale.
1.3 points per possession. Oh, I was on Rhode Island. Interesting.
I like Rhode Island.
Train. I guess.
I like that Rhode Island team.
Toasted Beats, the dream is over, unfortunately. But yeah, someday.
Not fully.
Someday
Oh no, I was looking at the wrong schedule. But when Yale wins at Alabama, it'll be back.
Yeah, if they beat Alabama, okay. And if they run the table in the Ivy, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, Ray Gachette, best pod. Love the pod, bros. Keep up the good work. Salute to you.
Shout out to Ray. Met him at
Thanks,
WeaveCon.
Ray.
We did meet
Oh,
Ray at WeaveCon. Okay, Matt, finally, Concerned Lurker says, Matt, most flaky. You need to replace Matt. Every one of your listeners would love to talk right about basketball for money, and Matt seems to take it for granted. It annoys me how flaky he is. Otherwise, I love the pod. Matt, your response.
Did you write this?
No, this is not me. This is a Concerned Lurker.
No, you wrote it.
I did not. Your
Yeah,
thoughts?
put your name on this take.
Your thoughts?
I didn't write this either, but I'm afraid to say anything.
We know the person who wrote this.
Matt,
Maybe I wrote this.
Matt
Maybe I wrote
ignores-
this.
Matt ignores the review. He takes it in stride, as he does.
Yeah, well, I mean, sorry, I'm happy to tag myself out for another viable candidate if we have
No.
if such a name could emerge.
Wow, look at him just not even rise to the challenge at all. Just back out, cower away. Rise to the
No, I
challenge.
know
Prove these
I
people
have
wrong.
I have my mobsters in my corner who defend me to the death. Right now, they're screaming in the microphone like, "Wow, without Matt, this pod would fail." Oh my God, we need.
We
Matt.
have had reviews in the past that say that, but we're going to go with
True.
this guy for now.
Yeah, it's a
current.
recency
That's fair.
bias, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, that was
I was
the
gonna say
review section.
I was my takes have been really bad this year. I was thinking the review would be more of like Matt's preseason takes stunk, and I kind of agree with
Well,
that.
I don't care
I
about
was
your
taking
take quality.
inventory.
I don't even know your
I just want you
Well, I
here.
care.
I want your attendance.
Yeah,
That's what I
presence
want.
is one thing, but takery's got to be better. It's more
The
that's
best
more
ability is availability, Matthew.
We're 4
Yeah, that's
games
true.
into the year. Our takes can get much better as the year goes on,
God, they better.
or
My
worse.
takes were perfect. They weren't. They weren't perfect.
Okay, that does it for the review section. Thank you to all
right.
three of the reviews. Concerned Lurker was a 5-star review, so thank you.
Shout out to
I
Concerned
know.
Lurker.
Anytime,
Love it.
maybe. You want to rag
Yeah.
on me and give
You
me
can
5 stars.
drag
We're here.
Matt for
Give us
five
five
stars.
stars.
Perfect. Feel free to do it again. Wink. Do it again. We don't know who it is, Matt, but okay. That wraps up our episode for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to tune into our Best Bets show on Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Central. We'll be coming live on our YouTube channel. Hopefully, the three of us all wearing spinny hats tomorrow, boys.
Mine came
Nudge,
in the
elbow,
mail. Very
elbow.
excited.
All
Yes.
right, good.
Excited.
Matthew appears to have his. He looks excited about it. So that should be coming to you, or it will be coming to you tomorrow, Saturday, depending on when you're listening to this. But tune in. We'll talk through the Saturday slate, give our takes on any chat mob question games, and a couple of best bets. But otherwise, remember, Basque on Review. Tune in there if you want to interact with us. We're always available in the Discord. That's it. Enjoy your weekends.